Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jimmy and today we're taking a budget airline flight from Orly, Paris to Porto, Portugal. This is my first time traveling to Porto and I'm here to find out why this city is such a good place for retirement. Besides Porto giving Portugal its name and its famous port wine, I think the 20-degree year-round weather makes it an ideal place to live in. No heating or cooling required. My initial impression taking the bus into the city was its cleanliness, probably much cleaner compared to many European cities. Portuguese empanadas, pork chops, and some serious carb overload. After my lunch, I explored the surrounding neighborhoods to find my bearings around the city. I feel surprisingly safe compared to a city like Paris for a few reasons. No animal poop or trash everywhere on the streets. There are homelessness, but the homeless are not aggressive. People kept their distances from one another, which meant less probability of getting pickpocketed. And smiley old people drinking beer in a cafe bar. Here's what a 2,000-ish euros per month rent can get you in Porto. A brand new kitchen with a balcony for your laundry, a study room and a guest toilet, entrance to the apartment, one common bathroom, a master bedroom with an ensuite bathroom, one bedroom and a second bedroom. There is another balcony and huge living room which I did not show in the video. I'm not trying to sell any apartments, nor am I trying to promote Porto because I'm being paid by the Portuguese government. I'm merely sharing my observations here. In Singapore, there are the affordable hawker centres. In Porto, the Mercado is the equivalent of hawker centre Portuguese style. You can find a wide variety of food like cakes and desserts, to Portuguese set meals, to roast beef dishes. The store owners are fluent in English and are rather patient when I ask them questions about the dishes I'm ordering. In fact, I don't get a sense of being rushed even though I'm a tourist asking silly questions. Portuguese dishes are pretty heavy in carbohydrates and salt. This is what Porto streets look like on a Saturday morning. I remember asking the store owners yesterday if the Mercado is closed on the weekends. To my surprise, they told me the establishment is open even on a Sunday till 10 p.m. This is fairly atypical for any European country. Walking to a souvenir store, I can quickly tell what Porto is famous for: tiles. All around Porto, you can see walls covered in hand-painted blue tiles. Forgive me if I massacre the pronunciation, azulejo, which means blue tiles. This word means polished stone in Arabic, and the art form spread to Portugal during the 15th century. In the 18th century, Chinese blue and white porcelain became popular, and it became Portugal's signature aesthetic. This Catholic church, Igreja do Carmo, is just full of exquisite details, and I can only imagine the number of hours it took for the artisans to construct. I guess tuk-tuks are not only found in Southeast Asia. As I continued wandering around the city, I wondered what the commotion is all about. Wow. There was this massive queue to enter a bookstore. Harry Potter fans, you might want to take note if you haven't already known this. The Livraria Lelo is said to have inspired J.K. Rowling's Hogwarts description. Interesting fact, Rowling lived in Porto in the early 1990s while teaching English. Just in front, we can see the Torres de Clérigos standing at 75 meters tall and offers a panoramic view of Porto. Voila the famous Porto wine. At every turn, I can also spot buskers performing, which adds to Porto's cultural scene. Porto is definitely not a flat city. Going up and down the cobbled streets is quite a workout. Maybe that's why people in Porto eat lots of carbohydrates, because they need the energy. Looking at the road signs and menus, I can decipher some of the Portuguese words like mercado. The Portuguese language, a Latin language, is pretty similar to Spanish and French. I detected a rancid smell. Who knew Portuguese ate salted fish too? On the second level of the market, you can even get a 10. I ordered some local oysters, and it's interesting to see how the oysters are being shuckled here. It's the first time I see such an apparatus being used. This is what I call heaven on earth, coupled with a bottle of local sparkling white. The meal is incomplete without a Portuguese egg tart. I had previously asked the real estate agents, why do people in Porto put ceramic tiles on the outside of the buildings instead of the inside to save on cost? I later found out from them that it was for practical reasons rather than purely aesthetics. The ceramic tiles helps to insulate the buildings from the summer heat, waterproof against humidity, and keep maintenance low. I found the metro system in Porto to be confusing, as you have to be vigilant with the 5 different colored trains running on the same tracks. Eventually, I managed to get to the beach after hopping on and off different colored trains. The beauty of Porto is you have the Atlantic Ocean right at its doorstep. Not only do you have sandy beach, but you also have pebbled and rocky beach. Porto is known as the City of 6 Bridges. Essentially, there are 6 bridges connecting Porto to Gaia across the Douro River. I'm not too sure if the name will change if new bridges are constructed. I found out that there is a small community of Singaporeans living in Porto. Some move for their significant others, and some are just simply escaping the hectic Singaporean lifestyle. In Porto, a fine mist often drifts through the cobbled streets, soft, almost musical as it touches the tiled walls and river breeze. Even in the chill of that mist, there's warmth everywhere. In the smiles of locals, in the simple bom dia shared by strangers, in the way the city embraces every expat like family.
Les deseamos un buen viaje. Por la UNESCO como Patrimonio de la Humanidad. For storage of the famous port wine, which was transported in barrels from the Douro Valley in the famous radial boats that can still be seen moored on. Senhores passageiros, a forada é uma povoação. Ladies and gentlemen, we are reaching the end of our cruise. On behalf of Mercado Bom.
Here are some of the most famous views of Porto. I'm not too sure what happened, but we have one casualty from the treacherous undulating Porto terrain. There are some really fancy real estates near the direction of the beach. I settled into a beachside restaurant to enjoy the sea breeze, pizza, fries, and a local beer called Superbock. I saw this strange looking shellfish and I decided to give it a shot. Goose barnacle is a prized delicacy and is also known as the black gold of the Atlantic. I decided to have breakfast at a nearby cafe and I ordered a local breakfast sandwich. What surprised me is not the food but the service. The Portuguese waiter in his late 50s said "谢谢" after I placed my order. This simple word spoke volume about Portuguese hospitality. I ate roasted suckling piglet for lunch and I didn't have enough cash to pay my glass of wine. The store owner patiently allowed me to pay with a Wise bank transfer while keying in a 30-digit IBAN number. As my trip comes to an end, I can safely say Porto isn't just a city, it's a feeling. It's a place where time slows down, where every meal feels like a celebration, and the locals welcome you like old friends. If this life by the river speaks to you, hit subscribe, and let me know what you like about Porto. Obrigado.